What's up, guys? It's your boy, the BlackOni, coming back with you with another good interview. And I also want to thank everybody who paid attention to the last interview I had with my boy, the Immortal Afro. Today, I got a very awesome ass person in the house. His name is Mtrill. And
hey, what's up, y'all? What up?
I just, I'm happy you here.
I appreciate you. I'm happy to be here.
I see you doing your thing. I see you getting into your music. Just tell the folks, a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Like I said, my real name is Malin.
Right.
I go by Mtrill. That's short for M Trilogy. I came up with that a long time ago because I needed to come up with a gamer tag. Because, back in the day, I was serving folks online, on Xbox Live. You could have caught me on that Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. You could have caught me on that Naruto Rising Ninja. Hell, you could have caught me on that Rock Band. But that's how M Trilogy was born. It was born into a gamer tag. But then later I realized, I said, man, I need a new rap name. Because back in the day, I was going through so many different rap names. In fact, when I was little, y'all, and which all my friends, they joke with me about this. I'm gonna say it because I ain't ashamed of it. It's something I thought of or whatever.
Oh yeah,
but, yeah. See, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That old M4M shit. But
tell them what M4M meant.
Okay,
at that time before it meant male for male.
Mind is, I had no idea. It's just something I came up with it. No, this does not mean I'm gay. I'm not gay. I love women. Goddammit. But M4M stands for male porn. You know what I'm saying? But I came up with that because my email address was money4malin@yahoo.com. So I need to come up with a short way to do that as a rap name, because at the time I wanted to use the same, I wanted my rap name / producer name to be what my email address was. So I shortened that out and just came up with M4M. And then later found out through a friend, well, I put in M4M on Google. I was trying to find you, and goddamn it, all these male on male start coming up. I'm like, oh, okay. So instantly, I changed that shit. I'm like, fuck that. Like, nah, and to this day, these niggas won't let me live that shit down. But that's cool, though. That's cool.
All right. So I know one of the things that, you're big in besides gaming and, is making music. Could you tell them the types of music that you make?
Okay, so the type of music I make, I really, really like doing, if it's a beat I'm making or whatever, I normally like to do trap beats or whatever. But
Right.
when I'm doing those trap beats, my heaviest inspiration is from different animes and video game music. So even if I'm not sampling it, I might be listening to something from an anime or a video game, and I might build on top of it, you know what I'm saying? But I will do any kind of music. In fact, I plan on getting a new computer, and I'm going to have to get my boy his computer back because he's been letting me to use it for a long time. Shout out to you, my guy. I ain't going to say your name right now because I know because of privacy issues and shit right now, you know what I'm saying? But he been letting me use his shit for a while. I got to get back to him soon, so I'm finna get which I know a lot of people want to approve of, including the guy that was on the previous interview. I'm going to give me a Mac. I know, I'm sorry, man. But, I know, but hey, man, when it comes to music, man, I see them as the best option.
I got you.
I see them as the best option.
Hey, I'm not mad at you. One of the main YouTubers that I actually watch who actually does music, you heard of Pink Guy, right?
Pink Guy.
Filthy Frank.
I heard of Filthy Frank.
Okay, Filthy Frank and Pink Guy are the same guy.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the cool things that had me tripping is that's what he uses. He uses a Mac.
Yeah.
For to make all of his beats.
Yeah.
And if you ever heard any of his mixes or anything like that?
I don't think I have. I think I just only heard of the name.
Man, I'm gonna tell you like this. It's dark comedy, but it's bumping as hell. A lot of his music, I would bump. He makes some really good trap music too.
I'll check him out.
He got a whole page dedicated to that stuff. But all right, another good question that just popped up in my head is, what are your main goals for the future towards your music?
Main goals for the future toward my music, man, you know what? I'm kind of in that mindset right now where I think my goals are just, and this might be weird to say, I feel like they just already set up. Like, and I can't say what they are. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like once I do, or once I get to that peak that I know that I need to be at,
right?
I feel like, bam, it's just gonna be, oh, you did it. You know what I'm saying?
Like everything happens for a reason type.
Yeah. So in other words, like, I don't necessarily just have the goals, like, but at the same time I do have them.
Right.
It's just like I can't really explain it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, but I feel like, you know, once I get everything I need, I feel like I'm gonna be A1 at that point.
Okay. All right. Another little question that pushes a little bit further in there, or I really won't say it pushes further in that, but something, you know, because everybody gets into music different. They get into doing music different. What got you into doing music?
Shoot, what got me into music?
Right.
First of all, before I even answer that question, I'm going to give a shout out to somebody that's going to be involved in this question. I want to give a shout out to my boy Lil Dub. I want to give a shout out to my boy Cam. You know what I'm saying? OG Creep on PlayStation Network. He pretty cool at Naruto. Go check him out. You know what I'm saying? Man. And shout out to my big brother, man. My big brother, Johnny. You know what I'm saying? He did music, you know what I'm saying, when I was little. You know what I'm saying? Him and his friends, they had this keyboard, in which I have that same keyboard at home right now. I just got to get an adapter for it.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, and they used to all come over together. They used to play little tunes on it, you know what I'm saying? Like, they'll record little tracks, and they would rap on them. So, you know, me and Lil Dub, we saw that, and, you know, we was like, damn, man, we got to do that. You know what I'm saying? So my mom, she had got me this real cheap little keyboard, and me and him used to get like little, you know what I'm saying? We used to get the tapes, like cassette tapes back in the day, and record on them mugs.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And we'll put the little keyboard up to the radio while we recording, and we'll just rap over and freestyle. You know what I'm saying? So I've been doing this since I was about 7, 8 years old.
I remember those days.
Yeah.
Like me and my brother would have like we had this big ass boom box, and I remember us putting in the tape, like it would be like all of these tapes like that we had found like a crap ton of blank tapes.
Right.
And we'll put them in, and I remember one of the first songs we did, it was just an instrumental, and I don't know where the instrumental came from, but it was a CD. It was a boombox that played CDs and tapes. Mm-hmm. You know, so I guess you guys can see these nuts, but you know, but the thing,
nuts in your mouth.
You know, like. But the thing was, we had this CD that actually had all of these different instrumentals on it, and we just wanted the rap. It was one of our ways of coding with, you know, going to school, you know, living with day-to-day stress, living with peer pressure, living with all of that stuff. Mm-hmm. So we would rap, and I remember the first time when, and this is gonna sound crazy because it wasn't that long ago, but it was hella long ago when Linkin Park Reanimation came out.
Oh yeah, that was a while ago.
You know that, like, I remember they had one instrumental on there, and it was just like the forfeit the game before somebody else takes you out of the frame and put your name in. You know, and Points of Authority is what it was called. Yeah, and we rapped to that.
Yeah, and
I remember I'm like, oh man, this isn't gonna get out. We're not gonna do anything else. And I remember my cousin Jay Will being on there with us. For folks who don't know who Jay Will is, he is Ferocious Fox. You can also find him on here. We haven't been in the best standards in the world, but you know, I'm gonna give him a shout out because, you know, I give credit where credit is due. You know, that's me. You know, I don't bullshit about that type of stuff. But, you know, like I said, the thing was that I remember he was over there and we were like rapping, and a lot of things we did were recorded on cassette tapes. I remember talking, and I know this is getting way off subject, but we're finna get right back on this after I talk about this. Just cassette tapes popped in my head after you had brought that up. I remember talking to my fiance about, you know, the whole, I say, I think I want a Walkman. Like, no lie, this was this week. And she said, a Walkman? And I was like, yeah, you know, I got some cosplay ideas of like one of the cell phone game characters. He's a ninja that actually runs around with a Walkman, and his apprentice have like iPods and stuff. And it's dope. It's dope as hell. And so I told her, I was like, I need to get me a Sony Walkman. I was like, I gotta get. It's a particular type of Sony Walkman I have to get because it looked futuristic at the time before CDs were major. So I told her, I said, I'm gonna find it. I ended up finding it, but I'm not sure if I want to buy it yet.
The Walkman.
Yeah, man.
Shoot.
You never had to worry about that thing. You could drop it. You know, it could fall in water. You just waited for it to dry out. Like,
man, for some reason, I'm thinking about CD players right now. You remember them days, bro, where you had a CD player and you plug your earphones up into it,
yo,
and you would literally go to the next track on a CD.
I'm talking about
that was the days, man.
I'm talking about like, and kids take that shit for granted.
They don't know what it is, though.
Like,
that's the thing.
you know, like, I got a cousin who's, you know, they grew up in the era of MP3s, so they've never seen a Walkman. You know, they seen, you know, CD player, Walkman CD player, but they didn't understand the struggles that came with that. You know, like, you know, you couldn't run really with a CD player, bro. You remember that?
Like, yeah, unless you had some big ass pockets.
Yeah.
You know, just like the same thing with VHSs, man. We had to rewind everything. You know what I'm saying? You want to start a movie from the beginning? Nah, it wasn't no one click. Let's just, you know, go all the way back to the beginning. Like, no, you had to sit and wait a good 5 minutes until that whole VHS rewinded all the way back to the beginning.
Man, like I said, this is bringing up some good nostalgia though.
It really is.
Because like I said, I love this. Is my first time having you on my show. I love this.
I'm loving it. I'm loving it so far.
And you know, like I said, I remember running. I remember I was setting up for track. And I remember I ended up somehow messing up my CD player. I ended up, my Aunt Ned ended up buying me a Walkman. It was a Sony Walkman, my first Walkman. And I remember digging through like I said, young, crazy kid. Still had all my little collectibles and all that stuff, like action figurines and stuff. I remember like digging through this bag.
Man, them action figures.
Yes.
Hey, man, don't get me started on those.
But I remember digging through all that stuff, pulling my Walkman out. And I remember I had found it was a tape in there already, and it was Earth, Wind, and Fire. I fucked with Earth, Wind, and Fire, all right? But you know, it had shares of brick, but I had that on there, and one of the cool things about it was I remember like jogging, and I was like, oh man, I need to figure out some selection of music. And I remember jogging to the gas station and getting like actual workout music. Yeah. And because they actually sold cassette tapes still. So that tripped me out even more. And I would go in there every week until the day they stopped selling cassette tapes. Right. And it was insane to me. It was really, really insane to me.
Hope you don't mind, man. Let's pop open a Steel Reserve, bro.
Oh no, dude! You know, on my show, you can pop open a beer.
Anything goes.
You know, yeah, you know, pretty much, you know. But
that sound. Oh yeah.
Hey, you guys, just to let you guys know, I can't drink beer right now because I'm trying to tone up for a certain. Yeah, dude, it sucks.
I feel for you.
It sucks, but I'm doing this because if I don't, I can't. My body won't tone up the way I want.
It really won't.
So
alcohol does affect.
Yeah. So you know, like the thing is, I'm on creatine right now. I'm on a pre-workout regimen. So like I said, by 8:00, I gotta get my ass up and hit the gym. After I hit the gym, I can sleep all day though, cause it's the weekend.
And then you done worked up a reason to go to sleep.
Yeah. A good reason to go to sleep.
But now I got a question for you.
What's up?
How would you feel about a little freestyle at the end of this little clip right here?
Hey, man, I'm ready. Like, I'm so serious.
You got some beats on here? You got some beats anywhere in the BlackOni's layer? You got some instrumentals in here? If not, you know I can supply one somewhere.
Hey, you know what's crazy? I still don't have any speakers for this.
It's cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, I just want to record over the mic. It ain't got to be no quality or nothing. You know, let's just drop something. You know what I'm saying?
But, like I said, damn, if you have... Man, I like, honestly, that's my fault because I said I was going to get some speakers this week for this. I was going to go to Fred, buy some $14 speakers just to have them so I could do shit like this. That's on me. I apologize, guys. But you got any beats on the system?
On the system, no, but on my phone, that's a different story.
Okay.
On my phone. So what I'll do is, let me see. In fact, I'll play the one I sent you.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah.
We gonna do that in just a little bit. So I said, get it ready. All right. Off the bat, who are your favorite rap artists who are out right now?
Shoot, out right now, I gotta say Absol. Absol's delivery, man, is just, and everything he's about is just, man, is straight 100. I love what he talks about. His last album was literally an album dedicated to women. He has a song on there called Womanogamy. You know what I'm saying? He recited a line that goes like this. When I was little, and I don't know if this is exact words, but I'm going to tell you what he said. He said, when I was little, we learned about history, but never did we learn about her story. And see, with stuff like that, you know, I love that. I love that type of, you know, I love that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? And that's why he's so dope to me. That's why right now in the game, that's why Absol is probably my number one favorite. But after Absol, definitely J. Cole.
J. Cole?
I love Conscience, man. I love Conscience rap. Like, you know what I'm saying? Bringing a positive message. I love that shit. That's the type of music I like. You know, and I ain't trying to down any rapper out there, Lil Yachty, all y'all doing y'all thing. I feel y'all. And I'm not gonna diss y'all. Y'all doing y'all thing. You know what I'm saying? But it's just not my cup of tea. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, I ain't dissing, homie. I'm not dissing. Like, you doing your thing. But me, shit, man, my nigga Ab, my nigga J. Cole, you know what I'm saying? Kendrick. He just came out with a new album. He is he killing the game, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like that real shit, bro. Like, and I got niggas, man, that like straight gangster shit that's real. Like Gucci. You know what I'm saying? Gucci, Lucci. You know what I'm saying? That rhyme. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
Me?
All right. Since you said that, all right. I got two questions, but I'm gonna throw one out there first, and then I'm gonna throw the next one out.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, and before you say that, I'm sorry. When you ask my favorite rappers, you know what I'm saying? I know this probably is off limits or, you know, against the rules, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Honestly speaking, man, I gotta go underground. Hippie Soul is so fucking lit, bruh. Tico and Itty, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, bruh. But Tico and Itty, bruh, them niggas is so fucking lit, bruh. You have no fucking idea. And then they are fucking fellow shinobi. Man, shout out to Hippie Soul. Shout out to the 901 Memphis, man. Hippie Soul out there doing the thing. In fact, they so inspirational right now.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I fucking love Hippie Soul. And anything like what's the underground wise, I fucks with them. So, all right. With that being said, next question.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's just say, if you got a person who's trying to, I guess, get up off your spark, like trying to ride on your train of success,
right?
And they throw a diss track out there, what do you do? What do you plan to do? Because, you know, like I said, a lot of folks, you know, they getting ready for war. They finna fire back. So my whole thing is, what would you do? And I'm talking about, you didn't see this coming. You didn't know that, you know, you cool with this person.
Yeah.
And they take shots at you.
The way I look at it, and if you know who Malin is, you know that I'm a huge fan of Naruto. What you're asking me right now is a very similar situation to, you know, what Naruto and Sasuke go through.
Right.
So in this case, I would take the role of Naruto and be like, oh, you trying to come at me, bro? Okay, we friends. Hit me with your best shot. I accept the challenge. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I'm just going to come right back at you. And I'm going to look at it as a friendly competition. That's how I'm going to treat it. But then I'm going to confront you and ask you, like, hey, are you serious? Like, are you mad at me? Like, did something happen or whatever? Because if not, then, you know, yeah, you can keep coming at me. That's cool or whatever. Let's make this a friendly competition. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's get some publicity out there so people can start digging us. You know what I'm saying? They can be like, ooh, these niggas going at it. You know what I'm saying? That's what's up. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, you know, but at the same time, a lot of people ain't gonna know what's actually really going on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So you know, it's as long as, you know, if you come at me, you know what I'm saying, just make it like we sparring or something, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like we sparring.
But all right, I'm gonna say it like this: what if they 100% in their fields because they, you know, like, cause you know, the thing out there. Honestly, is there's a lot of people who are jealous of another person's success. Mm-hmm. Like, you can have a happier life. You know, you can just now getting yourself in a great financial standards. They don't like that. They like the old you where you were struggling. You weren't that happy because you were worried about this and that.
Yeah.
You know, and now you're doing better. And they're taking shots at you for that. Like, is it the same way or is it different?
See, and in that case, I would still try my hardest to be the bigger person about it, and I wouldn't. If they were really in their fields or whatever, I wouldn't just diss them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I will. Every time I see them, I still would, you know, continue to reach my hand out to that person. You know what I'm saying?
That's
like,
what's
hey,
up.
you know, hey, are we cool or whatever? They still feeling salty? I'll give them all the time they need. You know what I'm saying? Because if we were once friends, that meant something. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially, and I ain't gonna say just friends like, oh, we met and we talked a little bit. No, if we were friends, like, to the point where we became family, you know what I'm saying? Then that meant something. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I will always reach my hand out to that person no matter what. I'm the type of person, I don't like to hold grudges.
Okay.
If I'm mad at a person, I'll be mad at you for a little bit. I promise. It's gonna take you to do. You're probably gonna have to be Satan to keep me like angry, fully angry at you.
I feel you. Hey, and that's deep though, because you know, like I said, a lot of people these days. I'm talking about, you know, you see it, and you know, we, like I said, like you said earlier. You don't know what's going on behind closed doors.
Right.
With, you know, certain things. Some people could actually be coming out to do this to boost somebody else up, you know, in their fame and stuff. But in certain situations, it's not that way. You know, a lot of people, you know, it's either, you know, you being hated on, or, you know, people say you changed or you become faker, and it's just, you know, you're more successful than what you are. And you're doing better, so of course, you know, your music changed, and I think that was one of the things a lot of people have issues with like rap music, nerdcore music, because when it comes to rap, do you believe this? And I'm just gonna say a quote because David Banner actually said it best, and that was, a lot of people when they rap, they're rapping about the community or the elements that are around them.
Right, and that's what I like to do, but I like to throw in, you know, details and references from things that I love. You know what I'm saying? So I will rap about what's going on around me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, get ready to hear some shit like, you know what I'm saying, you niggas shooting guns, you know, fuck that, I'm gonna run up on you like it's a Raza gun. You know what I'm saying? Some type of shit like that.
I dig that because, you know, it's, you know, you was raised in a world where, like I said, anime was. I remember growing up when I was younger and I was introduced to anime. And like I told a lot of people this, like, anime conventions. There were more guys and more, you know, now you see a lot of women getting into it. And like I said, it made me feel good because, you know, like, I don't say, oh, well, I was a part of that. You know, yeah, it's true. I was a part of that. Just like, you know, when we used to do rap music and stuff like that, and we were part of the nerdcore game, and now it seems like the nerdcore game is actually blowing up, but I see a lot of things now, like Mega Ran, man. Like, you know, I remember meeting Mega Ran. I remember talking to Mega Ran. You know, I remember it was a time where you could have a face-to-face conversation with Mega Ran, shake his hand, and talk to him for a good, you know, 15, 20 minutes, you know, if he wasn't busy. You know, now he's busy. You know, he's Capcom famous, all right? You know.
In fact, I believe, didn't he voice a character in one of the Mega Man games? I think he, I could be wrong, but I think he voiced Dr. Wily in one of the latest Mega Man games that came out.
Hey, that'd be dope, because if that's true,
I think he did.
Like, you know, like I said, shout out to Mega Ran. Like I said, I know my boy Kabuto. I'm going to be real with you. I know you ain't done music in a good minute, or I haven't heard it. But I need you to get back on throwing your music out there like you used to. Like Zealous, Zealous was my boy. All right, Kabuto and Zealous was just when they would do a concert or a team or something, they destroyed it. All right? They were like that top fear, like no nerdcore rapper would stand against neither one of them.
Shoot, speaking of Kabuto, you know what I'm saying? It's, man, since we mentioned him and Mega Ran, it's a couple of nerdcore rappers up like Sky Blue.
Yeah.
Man, I fucks with Sky Blue so hard. I remember one day, I'll never forget, when I first talked to Sky Blue on Facebook. I commented on, we were in a group. It was called, what's it called? Nerdcore something. I can't think of the name of it right now, but I'll have to get back to you on that one. But he had shared one of his songs in the group, and I told him, I said, yo, Sky, yo, dude, I didn't even know you were in here. You know what I'm saying? I'm just telling him how dope he was or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I had mentioned his song Flowers,
right,
which was produced by New Jobbies. Lord rest in peace, New Jobbies. You will be missed. You are missed, New Jobbies. We wish you was still here making the dope music, the dope tracks, man.
True.
But he used Flowers from New Jobbies, and I was able to recite lines to him over Facebook. He was like, yo, man, that's so dope. Like, I didn't know people like me like that. I'm like, dude, your shit is bumping, bro.
Yo.
Like, what the fuck? What the fuck you expect, dudes? Shout out to Sky Blue.
Big
Turbo.
shout out.
Yeah.
Bro, okay.
Turbo T Double.
Shout out to Sky Blue. Definitely Turbo.
Turbo T Double,
And
man. Wait.
I'm going to say this. I love Turbo. Have you heard his new album that came out called Fight Money?
I didn't know Turbo still making music.
Mine. I'm sorry, yeah, because it was like, okay, for a good minute, Turbo had did. I remember, because, you know, me and him were friends on Facebook. And I remember he had posted up on Facebook saying, my new single just came out, Superhuman. And another single had came out, We Are All Atoms.
See, I like that title.
And
that title dope.
And I'm talking about, like, the thing is, though, when you break it down, like, that song right there, honestly, like, just got me, like, wanting to ignite with myself with with more people, become more comfortable around people. We're all brothers, we're all atoms and stuff like that. That's yeah. We may not have the same skin color, we may have different blood types, but at the end of the day, one thing we all carry, if you ain't an alien with 6 different hearts, everything we carry, we all possess atoms in us. We're more connected with the world than we forget we are because of technology. But I remember listening to that song, and I remember Superhuman was one of them songs that I set as my alarm to get up in the morning. And it's just one of them songs that you could be cruising in the car to. Superhuman. I'm not gonna butcher T Double's song like that. But I remember when he came out with all of the, all of those major volumes and everything. You remember when he did like, what's another one? When he did Battletoad. He did.
Hey, he was heavy on the Battletoad.
I'm talking about, yeah, man. I'm talking about. He killed awesome. It. He killed the game in that. So, and then he was one of the people too. I loved all of the slang that he was saying, like keep on scrambling. Yeah. I used to love the buzz, man. He used to do that. He used to do that on the track.
Hey, you know what, man? You know what? Like I really hate it because, what I'm saying, there's great underground artists out there like that or whatever. And I know it's a completely different genre.
Right.
Like, it's not just trap. It's not just rap. It's not just hip-hop. It's nerdcore. And the reason it's nerdcore is because of the type of bars that you are delivering and, what inspired it. What was the inspiration behind it. You know what I'm saying? So, like, my goal right now is the fact that I didn't even know he had a new album. I wish I could I want to somehow come up with a way to make niggas like me and him, what I'm saying, become more known and be more appreciated for what we do.
The thing is, I'm trying to, and if you can help me with this, because, you're good with music, I want to get a lot of good mixes of T-Doubles. I want to get a lot of good mixes of Mega Ran. I want to have a nerdcore station on my show where we set it up and we play those.
And you know what would be awesome?
What's up?
if we could go to anime conventions,
Yeah,
and do that shit live in like the courtyards, at night. You know what I'm saying? Just have a good playlist of just all these dope ass nerdcore artists. You know what I'm saying? And probably with their permission or whatever. Throw some shit behind it. You know what I'm saying? Like some dope ass shit. Just like how DJ Wood, have some shit in the background when they rapping like damn, son. Shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like. Cause man, there's some dope ass artists out there in the nerdcore community.
And it is, and like that's one of my things. Like a lot of people when they hear nerdcore, I remember working in a video game store and introducing so many people to nerdcore music. Cause I remember, this is hilarious. This is a hilarious story. I had a white friend. His name is David, and when I told him about nerdcore music, cause he was used to gangster rap, and I let him listen to Mega Ran's, what's it called? Mega Ran's Castlevania. He had two songs, Castlevania, that was explaining a story, and it was one, it was like about the brother and sister, and he would always tell me, what was the name of that song again? What was the name of that song again? Every other night before we left the store, if David worked with me, he had to listen to that song. Because it reminded him if he ever lost his, if his sister ever lost him, she would come after him. Like, she would go looking for him. Right. And it's crazy that a lot of people don't know about nerdcore music. Like, I'm talking about, last time I worked in that store in Memphis for a good minute, and a lot of people didn't even know about nerdcore music. Like, you being a gamer, that's one thing you would think you would know is at least nerdcore music.
Right.
But, like I said, with that being said, I'm definitely going to have to bump that Fight Money album for you.
For sure.
And, we can do another review next week if you want to. Just giving your thoughts about that. Like, dead serious.
For sure.
Because it's dope as hell.
I already know. I already know it's dope.
Man. Definitely Blanca. He got a song on there.
See, my boy, man, and that's what I like about my boy. My boy, he like the original Street Fighter. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, like, no disrespect to anybody that like, Street Fighter. But like the new Street Fighter stuff, you know what I'm saying? It's cool. I ain't dissing, but it ain't my cup of tea. I'm real old school when it comes to, old school stuff.
Yeah, I'll pop a Super Nintendo out in a second.
Yeah, same thing with Dragon Ball Z. I'm old school when it comes to Dragon Ball Z. This new Dragon Ball Z super stuff, I ain't dissing it. It's just not my cup of tea. If it's old school, it's old school to me. I'm old school when it comes to old school.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying?
Since we on here, I know we over the time limit, but since we on this subject, name a few. I'm gonna name 5 of my favorite animes. It can be anime movies or anime series. Okay. But name your top 5.
My top 5. That's easy. And because my top 5, I was one of those kids who was more into the mainstream stuff growing up. So my top 5 would definitely be Dragon Ball Z, Yu Yu Hakusho, Rurouni Kenshin, Cowboy Bebop, Samurai Champloo. You know what I'm saying? Like,
okay.
That type of shit. And then Naruto came a lot later. But but those side animes, if you want to go into side animes, nigga, yeah, I was out there watching Cyborg 009.
Yes.
Yeah, I was out there watching Gundam. You know what I'm saying? I was watching that shit. I watched a little bit of Sailor Moon. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, I'm gonna say this. More men were hyped about Sailor Moon than women were now.
Exactly. I know guys today that look so creepy because they like Sailor Moon because we're around the same age and they like, what is that? Dude, you are you a rapist? Like, no, dude, that's just something from the childhood. You know what I'm saying? Sailor Moon. You know what I'm saying? Like fucking tuxedo mask and you got these three beautiful young ladies.
True.
You know what I'm saying? What else? It's a couple of them out there, man, that I was watching growing up. Even Inuyasha. My mama didn't really want me watching anything on the swing because they were cussing on that mug. So you know what I'm saying? That's literally the only reason why I didn't get to watch as much of those things, which a lot of those probably would have been my favorites if I got to watch it more. You know what I'm saying? But
man, I'm gonna say it like this: favorite all times. You already know my number one. It's got to be Cowboy Bebop. I'm talking about. I got it as my phone saver and everything. Cowboy Bebop, forever and a day. I remember my first time watching Cowboy Bebop. That changed my life towards anime. All right, Dragon Ball Z. You know, like I said, if I'm doing old school, I got to bring it back to what you know.
Yeah, you got to think in the mindset of when it was back in the old school days. You know what I'm saying?
And like I said, a lot of folks, if you're an anime fan, you should know this. You know, Akira.
Hell yeah.
Akira,
one of the most famous anime movies from back in the day.
Exactly. You know, and like that's one of mine's. I'm gonna say, you know, definitely Yu Yu Hakusho. You know, like
dope, like straight dope.
I'm saying the whole series was dope, and I like, and I hope they don't bring it back. I like the way it ended. Everything about Yu Yu Hakusho should stay exactly the same.
And Yu Yu Hakusho gives me like that 50s feel.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
I love the music, the soundtrack, everything. The same way with Cowboy Bebop. It wasn't not one song. Cowboy Bebop got me into jazz. All right, I fucking love jazz because of Cowboy Bebop.
And then let's not forget Lupin the Third. You know,
hell yeah,
Lupin the Third was definitely dope.
I'm gonna tell you who got me on Lupin the Third, and I could not put Lupin the Third down after that. It's my boy,
bro.
Yeah, you know, my boy D.
Oh, D.
You know, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna throw his, you know, I'm gonna throw his name out there, his other name, because I'm not sure if he want me to throw his name out there. But D-Star,
man, I gotta say this too, man. Fuck what anybody say. You the king of anime, goddamn.
Yo, I'm talking about
king of anime.
This dude has a stupid collection of classic. I'm talking about 80s, 70s. He has those anime, like he has the shit down. So I gotta give it to him on that. And you know, I remember he used to let me borrow all of these different animes I didn't know nothing about. You know, I think it was Bull, what was it, Bull 99 or Bull 66? Most likely I know I'm fucking up on that. But it was like about cops that were in New York at the time. And it's a hilarious, it's full of action. And like I said, I appreciate him for all of that, because that was really dope as hell for that time. Like we all used to just hang out like that. But yeah, with that being said, like I said, I love video games, I love anime and all of that stuff. And you know, like I said, this is your boy the BlackOni saying this. You know, if you're an anime fan and you come up to me and you talk about anime, we'll always have that in common. You know, it might be other things that we don't have in common, but if we talk about anime, we got something in common. And, you know, if you talk about games to me, we might not have certain games in common, but, you know, I hear out a game and I'll let you know if I like it or not. And I'm always going to be fair on liking a game. So, with that being said, we're going to get ready to wrap this up, but before we wrap this up, you got your beat ready, man? All right, guys. Without further ado, this is my boy Mtrill getting ready to drop a hot one, bro. Y'all need to be ready for this. It's hot. You ready, man?
Oh, I'm ready.
All right. So,
ready.
Y'all give us a second. We're finna do a live switch around, and then he's finna drop this heat.
All right, let's do it. All right. Hit y'all up with a little old school right here. I'm saying, hey, go ahead and start the beat for me, man.
All right, I got you, man. What the hell? Technical difficulties.
It's old school right here. Shout out to Fox. Shout out to White Tiger. I say even my boy BlackOni right here was on this track. You know what I'm saying? Hey, see, y'all remember it like it was yesterday. It was first grade, it was second grade. A couple friends called me out to come play. I grabbed a basketball, put on the J's. I was good, all eyes on me. They said I was like Goku from DBZ. I said, what's DBZ? They said Dragon Ball Z. Go home and watch that on Toonami. I started watching Dragon Ball Z. Toonami was the greatest, it was the world for me. Then I saw Tom, the man became my friend. He said if you can draw, yeah, just send it in. Be sure to sign your name at the bottom with a pen. Then I couldn't wait to watch Toonami again. The years passed and I started watching Naruto. It was a great show with a great host. But he was all different from the original. But before Naruto could begin, it had Toonami canceled. In the end, everybody sad, and all we said was dang. But all Tom could say was, until next time, bang. Yeah. Yeah. See, I remember when I used to be a teenager. My priorities were set back for the later. See, I might have had haters, but I wasn't a faker. And I was a creator, so they called me the maker. I set up on the game like all day, and I made beats like always. Used to let the kids listen in the hallway. Even grab me a sample from that All-State. A youngin' in the house, not paying a bill. Everything was free, I never paid for a meal. 17 was when I got behind the wheel, and 18 is when I got my automobile. Now look into my eye and tell me how you feel. Everything is about to get real. It was Dragon Ball Z, it was Yu Hakusho, King Cole like I'm Frieza, 100 to Guru. Going through these leaves, see they call me Naruto. From the hidden leaves all the way to Pluto. Call me for duty, then I'ma get ghost. Cause being young was when I really shot folks on the game. That's how I got my name, cause I brought the pain. Shuriken Sight, get a life, you about to die. I'm an alien Digimon, so you better stay out of area 51, nigga.